I'm not Jordan. This is Unedited.
Well, welcome to Unedited. I am Yasmin, and my special guest,
Not Jordan.
not Jordan, doesn't know when to leave. So we've got him for at least one more week, it looks like.
Yeah.
But no, we're super happy to have Ethan here. And we're going to dive right into In the News. So in the news this week, on Monday, there was a blizzard.
Crazy.
And was a perfect, beautiful, glorious morning,
Mm-hmm.
warm.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden, at whatever time it was, blizzard outside my window. Like
Yeah.
it happened that fast,
Yeah.
right?
I was at home that day, and so I was just chilling inside, and I opened the blinds, and I was like, "What is
I know.
just white? Like
you
I couldn't see
even
across the
see.
street."
I know, yeah.
Yeah. But the crazy thing was I had a Domino's free pizza.
This is
and I was
ridiculous.
really craving pizza that night. And so we ordered it up and got it. I was like, I'm not going to ask somebody to deliver it, though, in this weather.
No, that would be rude.
I was like, I'll go. And so I did it for pickup. And I tried to drive through Martinsville and Centennial, like the main road. There's somebody in the ditch. It's like hazard light backup, like the first time there's ever been a traffic jam in Martinsville ever. And I'm just sitting there for so long, and you could not see, it was, I don't know. I'm really a bad judge of distance, but I would say 7 meters in front of you, you couldn't see anybody, Anyway, I finally get to the pizza place, and I hop in, and
You're
it's
the only
just
one
dead,
there.
so dead. And I was like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I just really wanted pizza, And I go up, and there's no orders waiting. Usually, this Domino's has orders coming through, and
Of
there's
course.
pies waiting on the racks. And I was like,
Here's your
"Pizza for Ethan?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's the only pizza here."
and it was your free pizza, so you only
So I
paid
paid
$2.
$2 and then I left.
Ridiculous.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, I'm seeing all these posts on Facebook and Instagram that people white knuckling it on the way home, can't see anything. Circle Drive was a nightmare. But I do want to say this. Okay, we are getting used to it in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
That these kinds of things can happen. But what I will say is how impressed I was how fast the city took care of the roads. Hey, before, so we went to bed. Roads were closed, crazy thing, people in ditches. Wake up, Dustin goes to work at 4:30 this morning. The road is open, everything is clear. Those guys busted their butts through the night getting rid of that snow.
Yeah, I was like, how's the highway going to be from Martinsville to Saskatoon on Tuesday? But he was like, fine. Everything was just...
Yeah. So good job, city workers, whoever's all in charge of that and has to do all that, work through the night while we're all peacefully sleeping.
Props.
And then there was a lot of cool things going on, like when we've been talking about love and kindness and showing people this. Lots of that was happening in the city. There was people stranded at gas stations and welcomed in and fed and had things done. People pushing people out of the ditches, things like that. So although it was crazy, and I mean, it's over now, it's really nice to see that when Saskatoon and people on the highways all kind of pull together to work through a blizzard. So definitely not the blizzard I like. So I like the ones at Dairy Queen.
You get a blizzard at Dairy Queen too. Yeah, exactly.
So Ethan has decided that we are going to play another game.
Yes.
And so you can introduce the game because I'm really not wanting to play this game.
Yeah. So it's called Egg Roulette, and how it works is we've got a tray of eggs here. In this tray of eggs, we're not allowed to touch them, okay? Unless we're picking them. But in this tray of eggs, there are some boiled and some raw eggs. You might have seen this on Jimmy Fallon. I was gonna say Ginny Fallon. Anyway,
good old
you
Jimmy.
might see this. Yeah,
good old Jimmy.
You might have seen this on the Tonight Show or something. But the idea is that we're gonna each take turns, and we're just gonna clear this whole rack.
So can I feel it for a bit first?
No. The egg you touch, you can't even look too long. Okay, the egg you touch, you use, and you have to full force smack it on your head. I'm actually going to remove my glasses for this.
I just feel like you're an expert and you're going to know exactly what egg to pick, but I would know if I could lift them up.
Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, and luckily these were boiled a while ago, so they've settled, so there's no discoloration issues or anything. We're not allowed to. Don't even study them. No, stop it. You just first saw, best saw, pick it out.
Okay, and so we just do this back and forth until when? How do we know who wins?
Until it's cleared.
Okay.
Whoever has the most eggs on their face, the raw eggs, is the loser. There's no winner, there's just a loser.
So if we find all four really quick, the game's just over then, I guess, hey? Because then we know everything else
But we
is
could
hard.
clear the whole thing still, right?
All right. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Okay, one at a time.
One at a time. Why don't you go first?
I really don't want to go first. first.
Come on. Okay, I'll demonstrate. Okay, I'll make sure.
You go
I'll pick
first.
this. So see, I'm not touching any other eggs except for the one I picked. And
Oh, you so lucked out. See, like that's what I need, and then
Hard
it's not so
boiled.
bad. Okay, so
see
you
how much energy I put into it? I
Yes.
even did the
Okay.
head forward.
I'll move my bangs out of the way a little bit.
Pretend these eggs are threatening your children and headbutt them.
Okay, I'll just pick from the side.
Don't get egg on me.
Oh, it's a hard one. I couldn't even break it.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
pretty. When they squish, it's pretty unspectacular. Ooh, I could eat that right now.
I know.
So
They
I'm
actually would be.
kind of hungry. Okay, here we
Okay.
go. Ooh, another hard
I
boil.
feel like this,
They
like
look so good inside.
this nervousness before it hits your head. Okay. Yes, good.
How do we have 4 cracked without any raw?
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Oh.
It's gonna be like back to back or something. It like goes everywhere.
man.
Watch your sweater.
Oh man. Oh no.
Just remember this was your idea.
Yeah, well,
You should. And you're flicking egg on me.
you can have some. Okay.
Okay, my turn. Oh my goodness.
I got egg on my face.
Oh yeah!
What is happening? Okay, here we go.
You.
Ah!
Oh my goodness! It's like hair gel.
It's so goopy.
They say it's good for your.
I should eat it, right? It's good for you.
Okay. It's like I feel this like butterfly in my stomach before I do it.
It's so gross, Yasmin. You better get one. What is happening? Oh my gosh.
Is this one
Okay,
broken yet?
I don't know. Good,
Oh.
finally. Give me a break.
How many of you had just 2?
I've had 2 already. You better have 2. Here it is. This is it. Go hard. Go hard.
I'm scared to do it because I know it's gonna
First
probably-
raw one. No, but there's only 2 left, so that means I have to have 3?
I only get 1.
This is so unfair. How did I end up with 3?
I feel like the game should just be over because
Okay,
we
let's
know
do
you
it at the
lost.
same time, right? That makes sense, because we know these have to be raw.
Well, maybe we were lied to. Maybe there isn't actually 4 in here.
Then I would be pretty bummed.
Okay.
Okay, so on a 1, 2, 3, smash on 3, right?
Smash on 3.
You ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad
So
that you at least
gross.
got some egg. Hardly
It might
any.
fit.
I'm drenched in egg.
So in the city this week, we actually got to go to Grip It, which was absolutely fantastic.
So cool.
Okay, so we're gonna let you take a look at the video instead of us excessively talking about it. But we just want to say that they were just the loveliest people, such a community family.
Mm-hmm.
Even had some dogs running around.
So,
It was
yeah.
just, we felt so welcomed and had such a good day. So check this out. We are at Grip It here in Saskatoon, just in the downtown area. We are with Jay, who is the owner of Grip It, as well as one of his coaches here. Aiden is her name, and we've spent an hour or 2 hours here to try to climb these walls. And
Yeah.
it's not as easy as maybe it looks to some people.
Oh, shoot. Come on, Ethan. Come on, Ethan.
Come on, short, stubby legs. We are so glad that we're here. And we are in full support of local businesses and, of course, fitness.
Yeah.
A lot of people in January are suffering mentally with a lot of stuff after Christmas, and getting out and getting exercise is one of the greatest ways to do that.
This is a crazy cool place to get some physical activity and to get, moving a little bit, like she said, with the January blues. Jay, I was just wondering, like, how long have you guys been open here?
We just had our 10th birthday back in October.
That's awesome. You guys are moving grips and stuff, but have you added rooms or anything? Or?
Since like year 9, nothing's really changed structurally in a major way. And the holds and like what we do for the root setting, we change up weekly. For our bouldering, everything's replaced and refreshed every month. For the tall walls, the roots, we get that done in about 6 months.
Right.
So there's always something new, so our member base is entertained, and people that are coming in for a drop-in, there's always the appropriate levels for them and to kind of learn and play on.
I'm really fresh to this. This is like a try it out kind of exercise for me. I was kind of intimidated because it's like a gym setting with like memberships and stuff, and I'm like, is this going to be like too intense for me? Aiden was so good with us. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit, Aiden, about how your classes go, like what age ranges you do.
So basically, my youngest kid is like 3 years old, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they start young. Like basically, if you can walk, you can climb. And then that's going to vary up to, I think the oldest person I've coached is like 60-ish. We have like learn to climb classes, which is going to go for a certain amount of weeks, once a week for a continuous amount. And you want to like be on a team and kind of feel like you're in kind of like a family and work together with other friends to obtain that skill of climbing. Then we kind of offer like competitive classes as well, kind of like we have different skill levels for those as well.
And can you have a membership here?
From like the day passes to buying punch passes, so you're getting 10 passes for the price of 9 kind of thing, and then we progress it into month memberships, prepaids, all the way to like kind of indefinite memberships.
And they have all the equipment here. You can rent their shoes and the harnesses and all that stuff, so that's good.
So I have to just quickly say that like I'm terrified of heights, and so a room like this was just like crazy to me.
Yeah.
But the bouldering was really fun for me specifically, and I just have to say, if anybody's like new thinking about checking it out, just dropping in for one session, like it was so helpful. They helped me find the holds that would like get me to solve something, and so it was really cool to learn and actually be able to like, even while we were just here, I was able to accomplish something that I wasn't able to at first. So,
So good.
Thank you so much, guys. It's so awesome that we get to talk to you and hang out with you.
Pleasure.
So this week on Unedited, as you've noticed, this is not Jordan. We have Ethan right beside me, and he's come out and about and doing things. We just wanted to announce that Jordan has lost his brother, very tragically, very all of a sudden. So we're asking that you keep him in your prayers. If you're a praying person, keep him in your thoughts. If you just want to think positive for their family, they're going through a tough time. So we figured that this week, talking about grief might be an area that we should explore. So although it might not have as much humor and fun as sometimes that we have, it's important to address it. Grief is really tough. Not just on the person, but also on the people around them. It's awkward, and you don't know what to say, and you don't know how to go through it. And I know Jordan said this is the first time he's ever lost anyone. So, this is very significant, right? But it is something that you need to deal with. It's part of life. And this might be really eye-opening to you. It was to me when I heard this. It helped in part of my healing a long time ago. But when you talk about grief, it's not actually always about the loss of a human being. There's many different ways to grieve over losses of significant things like marriages and relationships.
Your job.
During COVID, we've had a lot of loss, whether it's just loss of routine, loss of with all these restrictions, restricting us to do things. Loss of travel. I know I have a friend who that was something she looked forward to, right? So, you're grieving these things. So I think it's really important that we talk about it today.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think?
Well, it's just like a part of life, like you said, that we can't avoid, but we don't always recognize, like it's not something that we necessarily, like if you're grieving the loss of your job, you might not necessarily phrase it in your mental narrative like, I'm grieving the loss of my job.
Right.
But it is a process that we're going through. And so like kind of a more obvious or striking example would be like loss of a loved one, That's kind of where we see like the most potent and like deep cuts of grief.
Yeah, for sure. And like what I notice with grief, since it makes people so uncomfortable, is that they expect you to like grieve and then get over it.
Yeah.
Right? Like that seems like the world is just like, okay, you've
Give
had your time,
weeks.
like get over it, whatever that looks like, even if it is a job loss or human loss, whatever that looks like, because it makes us all really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I know grief for me really starts to open up all those things around me that I appreciate so much more.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you appreciate or you laugh, it actually makes you feel guilty,
absolutely,
right, but they don't need to exist side by side,
Yeah.
right? Like, or they can exist, side by side. They
Yeah.
don't have to be like, I can only be sad, I can only be happy,
Like
right?
mutually exclusive.
Right. Like as humans, we can feel two things. Like we can be thankful, then pain still be there.
Mm-hmm.
We can be happy and sad. Like we could have the best day ever and still be grieving.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I think that's like part of. I struggle with that, like, and I wrestle with it. A big part of what forms my worldview is like what I can learn from the Bible specifically. So I find that like in the Bible, there's actually a lot of conversation about grief.
Lots,
There's a lot to say about like a season for like what's that popular song like, to everything turn, there's a season turn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that song is based off of a passage in the Bible. I think it's in Ecclesiastes.
It
but
is,
it's,
yeah.
yeah. And the person who wrote Ecclesiastes was called Kohelet, like, which means teacher. And the teacher gives like this crazy wisdom about like the fleeting nature of life. And like, so for me,
And the seasons of life, right?
exactly,
Yep.
yeah. And like
Some
the fact
good.
that life is vapor, like life is passing. You might think like, oh, that's such a bummer, and that's the last thing I want to think about when I'm grieving. But like as I learn about it, it's kind of like challenges me to think about the fact that, like you're saying, even in times of grief, we need to be able to like eat, drink, and be merry. Because that guilt, like, that's crazy that you mentioned that, because I didn't even think about that. But like the guilt of like, I should be missing this person.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be, even like after a breakup, you know,
Yeah.
like I've gone through breakups before where I was like, I shouldn't be able to laugh and have fun with my friends because this is happening to me right now.
Well, and with a breakup, it's even like you're with that person all the time and you
Mhm.
have this huge transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy and then you're the person who's like glad it's all over? Like there's
Yeah.
all this guilt,
Just like
right?
you don't want to be like a callous jerk,
Mm-hmm.
because there's like a process, there's a grieving process. Yeah.
And I remember when I lost my nan, that was one thing. So like I'd go to sleep at night, you know, you'd be thinking about it. I'd be sad. I'd be trying to work my thoughts through it. And I'd wake up and for a split second in the morning, I would forget that she died.
Mm.
Just for that split second.
Yeah.
And then it's like you relive it all over again. And that
Mhm.
can be super, super tough, right?
Mhm.
And when I would be laughing in that week, or we would laugh about good times and stuff, I actually felt bad. And that's why I brought it up.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Yeah.
there is a season for everything. We know that. But they also don't have to be exclusive.
Mm.
It's not, I can only be happy. I can only have sorrow. I can only grieve. Like they can coexist together, right?
Yeah, and that's like the biggest challenge to me is like how to balance that, how to embrace that. Because like, again, like, so Kohelet, the teacher, would say in Ecclesiastes, like that since life is fleeting and since there's death, like you're gonna die, because of that, you should be enjoying the fleeting, like the reality of your life, and like enjoying day by day, moment by moment. And like it's hard to embrace that, especially because it's the hardest in the middle of grief to embrace that.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but a vapor, that's like so crazy when you say that, how little that is. Like,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
this just air, this puff of air. It's
Just gone.
just gone, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's going to be tough for Jordan, of course, and his family, and so we are thinking of them often. But if you're somebody that's out there that's going through grief in some sort of level, please reach out if you don't know any resources. We'll probably talk about that a bit in a second here with the now what. But yes, just lean into the pain. I know that on here we're talking about love and being happy and being positive, but sometimes you need to lean into the pain and actually go through it and walk into it, not away from it, not avoiding it. Find someone to talk to, right? Journal your thoughts, process these in a healthy way, get out there, do things, have exercise, you know, like do things there. So, but yeah, I don't know if you have any other thoughts, anything else?
Well, yeah, just like along those lines, it's kind of ironic because the time that we need community the most, the time that we need our loved ones, the time that we need support, and even to reach out to new levels of support is the hardest time to do that. Like when you're suffering a loss, you're not excited to push yourself out.
No, you kind of go into yourself, right? You just want to kind of
Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah, and so as far be it for us to say, well, you just have to get over and get out. That's not the point, right? The point is like maybe you don't even have to wait until you're struck by grief and loss to start connecting to a community and get the supports around you that you will need, because everybody deals with loss.
Yeah, no, I agree. So now what? We've been talking about grief and what that looks like. I do want to make one comment about the other side of grief, where you might be a person that someone's grieving like around you.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason I want to say that is because one of the most important things for them to do is to talk. And so you need to be someone who's willing to listen.
Yeah.
And listen 15 times like it was the first time, 50 times like it was the first time, if that's what they need from you.
Yeah.
But then if you are grieving, there's lots of things that you can do to try to help that. So people is a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
Being around people that you trust.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have someone you trust, or maybe you do, there is a counselor option as well. You could seek someone to see. We've talked about this just a little bit ago, that seeing somebody regularly is actually really good for us, whether you're in a crisis or not. So that is one way that you can do it. You can start to do things that you really enjoy. So I know you might feel sad and you feel like you can't do anything, but if you like cooking, cook.
Yeah.
If you like to exercise, exercise. If you like to go out to the movies, go out to the movies every day this week. Like whatever that looks like, to enjoy things amongst your sadness and your grief and your loss. So you can talk to somebody, you can journal. That was another really big one, is journaling your thoughts down.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then that stuff, you can maybe be a little more honest with yourself, and also walk yourself through it. When it's all over and you walk through it, you could really see this process that's there as well. And then there's meditation and prayer and getting outside and having exercise and things like that. So just some tips. And if you have no idea how to find any of these resources, to do any of these things, please feel free to message us. We would love to be able to share that with you, or even walk through that with you. So, yeah.
And Yasmin, as Yasmin was saying, like, about being there for somebody, like sometimes when you're going through grief and like when you're mourning the loss of something, you really just need someone around so that you can kind of just like, lean up against them, just kind of like slump down, and not, you need somebody understanding. Like when I've gone through some more times of like mourning the loss of something or someone, like I remember the people who were just there day in and day out or whatever, and they weren't like pressuring themselves on me, but they were just there.
That's so
and
good.
So like when I had to weep, I could weep with somebody, and they were just like,
and you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk. You just
not
need
to try
somebody
and fix
there.
it, right? But just to be like,
that's a good point.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And so maybe like if you're the person going through grief, look for that person. Or if you're the person who's not, which maybe is a bunch of people watching this, or nobody, whatever, wherever you're at, be the person that somebody can just fall apart around. Like we need somebody like that,
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter if you got snot coming out every orifice of your face. Like, just
no
to be
shame, no guilt, just be there. Yeah. No, that's good.
And speaking of comfort, not everybody is necessarily on the same track in terms of like belief or unbelief in God, but we believe in God and that He cares. And so, Yasmin, you're just gonna say a prayer for Jordan.
Yeah, so we believe that God hears us. So today as we close, we would love for you to join us. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. And I'm just going to pray for Jordan's family. So if you'd like to do that, some people bow their heads, some people sit up and look around and, stand. And that's however you want to do that gesture. So I'm going to pray now. So God, I just come before you now with Jordan and his family, and I lift them up to you, Father. They're going through a huge amount of loss and grief and shock, I'm sure, as well, Father. So I just ask that you're there amongst them, amongst Jordan and his wife and his children, but as well as his parents and aunts and uncles, Father, just all of them, just each and every one of them. I can't even pretend to know what they need, but I know that I can trust you and you know their needs. So I'm just asking that you give that to them today. So Lord, I thank you for them, and we are anxious for him to be back. So we just pray this all in your name. Amen. Amen. So that is another episode with Not Jordan.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys are going to come back. Because Jordan is coming back.
Nobody's coming back after this. It's like, that's enough.
So so thanks for joining us. And like we said, you can use our platforms on Instagram, Facebook to private message us or make a comment down below, and we'd be happy to answer those. Or if you have a place that you want us to check out, maybe your local business in the area, we like trying new things and asking questions, right? So you could put those in the comments as well. So are we ready to close this one out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This could be our last time. Oh, and another thing you could do is play egg roulette.
Oh my gosh.
That brings a couple laughs.
Maybe try not to get 3 eggs in a row.
I know. Hence the toque, just so you guys know what happened there. I had to cover up the really crusty bangs on
Gross.
my head.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, another great episode of Unedited. You ready? Cheers.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Now you have to
Put on our
commit.
clothes.
You can't not commit.
But
'Cause
commit like
there's
this.
nothing lamer.
You can
If
tell
you
it's like-
don't commit,
like-
don't commit. It's like the
Worse.
lamest thing.
Oh.
You need to completely demolish it on your forehead.
Or something. Yes,
It has to be the best one.
We have no choice.